Good morning.
Good
You know
morning,
what I
Sergei.
did? I washed my AirPods along with my clothes. I forgot that I put the AirPods in my shorts,
They're
through the
working
shorts.
though.
Nah. The left one, yes. Oh no, no, no. I mean these little things. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Gone.
So you're
So
wired in.
I tested them. The cool thing is there was a chance that they both would work because one of them is working. So, hardware
The question
testing.
is, did you actually, did you put it in rice before you tried to turn it on?
No.
Do you know about
Sh-
this?
I know. Yeah, but I
Okay.
also I also a person who accepts whatever comes his way.
There you
Like,
go, man.
yeah, I don't know. It's a sign probably to get the new ones, even though I was not looking forward to it. But you know what I was looking forward to? Seeing you today.
I was looking
Good
forward to
morning.
seeing you too.
Good morning, everybody. This is Tuesday, and I know it feels a little bit off because we usually do that on Monday, but it's a I in QA newsletter review live for the next 28 minutes. We're going to be here. We're going to be going through issue number 17, which was in your inboxes yesterday. If it's not there,
If you're
well,
subscribed,
if it's not there, then don't look for trash spam. I mean, maybe you trashed it already, but I hope you didn't. I hope you just didn't subscribe. So go to AINQA, one word, .com, and you can click subscribe. And also, there is a section where you can ask a question, and it can be AI related question. Well, probably it should be. But if it's not AI, it can be just QA in general or any question, basically. You know what? Ask any question. But any, oh yeah, it's diversity and inclusion program here. We we accept any questions from anybody.
that's
I'm
right.
done. That was the intro.
All right. Well, do we want to start with the question or do we want to save that for the last 5 minutes?
If we're gonna be good at time managing and actually seeing that 5 minutes left and we'll switch to the question, we can do that at the end. But you know what? Now, you know what? Let's start with the question. Let's just do the question and maybe somebody will hear the question and something else will pop up in their head.
I like it. All right. I'm going to share my screen.
Oh,
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share. We're going to answer the last question on the list, which has 0 votes, which I think is okay because it's likely someone asked that question from the previous live stream because it was the last one. So here we go. Should AI generated content and human authored content live in physically separate SharePoint library sites or same library with metadata segregation?
Jonathan.
Physically separate SharePoint sites. That kind of got me because it is digital.
Well, you know what the person
But I know
meant.
what you mean. Yeah, I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
you know what they meant. So you have an opinion?
I would say if you are working in a environment that matters, then either way works, right? If it matters. I would think for most industries going forward, this likely doesn't matter if a human is reviewing it, right? So if a human stamps their name on it and they're the reviewers, but an AI generated, it likely doesn't matter. I say that caveat because I've seen some software companies be hesitant about using AI to generate code. In that, if that software company goes to sell their product or sell their company and M&A asks questions, so that's like someone trying to acquire your company, if there's a note or if there's like, hey, 80% of our code is AI generated, what are you buying? Are you buying an idea? Are you buying someone else's code? Is there going to be some kind of law that comes into play later that potentially says, hey, you can't own that, so you can't sell it? I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns around this because I think a lot of the laws are not there. But if it comes to content, so library sites, just internal documents, this, in my mind, it matters a little less, assuming a human has reviewed it. Sergey.
I would say that it's like two people. I'm gonna go into Ellie like Ellie 5. If your goal is to marry AI, you knew I would say something dumb. So if your goal long term, if you see your relationship with AI being as the one where you feel confident that eventually they will be moving into your house, and and you'll be making kids such like different features and stuff, and you have just started dating, but like literally think about it as you go on dates. I don't know, Jonathan, if you date, if you have partner, wife, whoever, not gonna assume anything, but think about dating. That's really is. So you have your own house. AI has its own house right now, right? It's the output window where it like tells you what it thinks about something. So I would say that if you're confident enough and your relationship is great, where like Butch said, you review the code, you really pay attention to what's going on, you really agree on a lot of things, right? Like AI is not generating constantly something where you disagree with, which again would be argument in a relationship, right? If you guys are like there's peace and love, then I would suggest that you move in as soon as possible because if the long term goal is again to marry and just integrate AI completely. When I say marry, I mean integrate AI in everywhere, right? Like pipelines, writing code, like creating tickets, everything. Then just move in already. Bless you. I can officiate the wedding, by the way. I have a certificate. But yeah, my again, I hope that it made sense what I said. But again, yeah, I see how people would not be wanting to, integrate everything in one repo and having the same library size, whatever. But I personally, even though I'm super cautious about my relationship with AI, extremely cautious, but you know this,
Yeah.
I still let it come to my house and do everything here, cook and clean and all of
So,
the things.
so what does like premarital counseling look like for this?
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm not
That's all
certified
right.
to
That's all
say.
right.
I can just officiate the wedding. But yeah, that's a good question. And again, if you have a question, and it doesn't matter if you watch a recording or you're watching us live, AI and QA, you can go there and ask a question. And also you can find other articles which are not included in issue 17 because they were included in different issues before yesterday.
That's right.
We're ready to move to actual newsletter.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think so. Yes. I think you kicked the newsletter off pretty well. Okay, the videos, you know me. Even though I had the day now to review everything, I realized in therapy that I work very well under the pressure. So I read yesterday, right before going to bed, everything, and I was like, 3 hours and 58 minutes. No, you're not having me. But you know what? Thank you so much for the link because I feel like now reading more and more and more and more articles, I realize because of the company I work for, I am physically falling behind on AI, meaning that I do not have those physical, right? Like, again, from the
I
previous
mean, it's the
question.
practice. You're not doing it
Yeah, I'm
daily.
not doing a lot of the things which I think I should have. And right now until September, I don't have personal time for that. But that's something the course on LinkedIn. That's something I'm gonna take so because I have the LinkedIn Gold, whatever. Um, yeah,
Premium. Nice.
premium. Yeah, my university gave it to me, so
Awesome.
I'm gonna watch that as soon as I have time in September. But because I bet there is a lot of good things. But the next one, the framework was never the hard part. AI changed that. Loved that. Absolutely
Yeah.
loved that. Yes, and I read the the title, and I was like, okay, is it what I think it is? And it is, and I agree 100% with this. But it also goes to those times when you know how you have those genius architects and amazing developers, or just great QA.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
have those people, and framework did not ever matter, honestly. I mean, no, okay, ever, huge word. Of course, there were times when when the frameworks were lagging behind one after another one, and they were competing in all of that stuff. But in 2026, at this point, read the article, because it really highlights the fact that it doesn't matter what you choose, how you choose to write your automation code, or what language probably you're gonna use. I mean, it still matters, but if you have a great idea and you have great understanding and you do have a knowledge base for a little bit for the code, and for the framework, just a little bit, so you can understand the syntax and stuff, AI will do the rest.
That's right.
Yeah.
You do have to ask it the right questions, right? You've got to put the right infrastructure in place, build the right skills, build the right how are you going to manage test data? How are you going to manage authentication? How are you going to manage browser sessions, right? So if you've got cookies in a browser, like is that logged in cookie going to be available for every test? You have an easy way to manage that. Those are the real hard questions, which do differ between frameworks. So you do have to know a little more than just here's the thing. But a lot of times, like, you can ask your LLM, hey, how does my framework handle this? Like, you don't have to know it. You just have to know to ask it and to make sure you give the right direction. So a lot of interesting things here. And with the coding tools today, if you want to change it, you can also change it. And that's beautiful.
Yes. Yes. And to the point of talking to your AI partner, that's going to be the theme of the AI family. That's going to be the theme of the today's review. We're going to jump right through from this, because it makes sense to go right to Julius Pottinger, how to write a Claude MD and Agents MD for test automation. This one is great. First of all, I love when people bring up their own struggles. I do not love and don't like happy articles. I just don't like when people like, oh look, unicorns and rainbows and candies and everything is working. It's just amazing. Like when like all the hard stuff is just, it's like, those I don't know, the people who look at the people with abs and be like, oh yeah, he got an abs, but do you know how much time you need to get the abs? So like what. Yes. So Juliet, I love the article. It's great. So first of all, Butch, thank you so much and we're gonna jump to another one after this one. Thank you so much for including articles like this. It's just, I have a feeling I have to give you kudos because they're due.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Julia, for writing.
And Julia,
I've been following her for a long time, just connected on LinkedIn, and I know she's taking a break, and now she's back writing again. So, big fan. Keep it up.
yeah. So, I love how, because she found the way to relate to me personally with her personal examples where, she asks something to write and it writes that, but it's not what she asked because she meant something else. And the cool thing is, again, Butch, thank you. And Julia, of course, to include the example. So the whole article is basically about how to, and it's people for like new people, basically.
Yeah.
New people to AI. So Julia, and it connects to what you said about previous article. Conversation. just ask the agent questions, not the questions, how, like, oh, I have this issue, do it. But also you can always have more questions, right? Like, after what it's done, you can always ask, is it good? Use Playwright best practices to evaluate your code, but also like look at other code. Do you have any? So you can constantly have a conversation. And this is a very good point which Julia makes, that by having a conversation with AI, you can build the Claude MD with AI, with the agent. You talking to, yeah.
I'll just rephrase that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
You should be using AI to help you build your Claude agent, your
There we
Claude
go.
MD, or
Yeah,
your
yeah.
agents MD. Should you review it? Should you manually modify it? Sure, if it makes sense. Most of the manual modifications, though, are going to be deleting lines, right? It's narrowing down the what you think is important based on your conversation and what it's generated.
Yes. Yes. And again, somewhere I didn't.
I'll make one note before
Yep.
we move on from here.
Of course.
If you're new to this Claude MD or Agents MD, in the end, this is just a file that lives at the root of your directory. At least the Claude MD does. I'm pretty sure the Agent MD works similarly, or that might be in a subfolder. But these files basically get loaded into context anytime you start up your LLM in that project. So you can have different layers, like your personal user, your project, or even subfolder Claude MD files or Agent MDs. And one thing to note that was called out here is like Agents MD is like the open standard. So everybody uses Agents MD. Claude MD does not is not the open standard. That's really only if you're using Claude. So just keep that in mind. And there is a note that Claude doesn't read Agents MD, so just keep that in mind as well. So
Yeah. And I love how she mentions, please don't, please do this, please do that. I know that you don't need it. Like you give a command. I know that there were so many jokes that machines will come to your house and kill you because you didn't say please, like in 2025 or something like this. Trust me, if they do come back for us, they're gonna go straight to my house first, because the things I've used to say to AI are absolutely terrific. But so this article is great if you're already working with AI and you already have an understanding. But the problem is that every time when you ask something, you get kind of what you asked for, but not what you meant. So that article is amazing for that. Again, Julia, thank you very much. But Butch, thank you very much to you as well for including MCP, explain for beginners. That's going to be in foundation sections, I think. Yes. So this one is great if you're new to AI, new to writing AI assisted code. You maybe have heard, you've definitely heard LLM, MCP, blah, 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 like hallucination. That's my favorite word. Uh, but this article, it takes about 12 minutes to read. I love when articles tell you how much it will take to read.
what if it's wrong?
It was wrong in my case. I read faster, but I read faster because I already know this. So I basically was skimming, not reading. So I already was like, if I read the beginning of the sentence, the end, and I'm like, yeah, I got it. But if you knew, it might take, and you know what? If it takes you 35 minutes or 2 days, is absolutely fine. If that's the article which will make you think and make you expand your knowledge, and the article which you will be coming back to be like, wait, what? And you go and read it, great. But basically, we don't need to go through this here. But the point is that Shriram, yep, that's the name of the person who wrote the article. He just explains the MCP, and the best part, if you scroll down, again, just like with the Julia, He even more. So the diagram. So if, it depends on what learner you are. If you're visual, maybe you're hands-on, tactile, and all of that. So there are gonna be diagrams explaining what it is, but also there's gonna be an example what you can literally copy and paste in your code and just try it out.
Copy and paste is strong. It's an
No,
image.
not this one. Yeah, yeah. There was the MCP. So again, he
Yes.
showed if you go a little bit up.
You can copy this screenshot and feed this to your LLM, and it'll write the code for you.
Here we go. Yes, yes. You can do that. You actually can do that, and don't forget that you can always talk to AI agent. Literally talk. What I mean is like talk. Just you can do that. I do that.
Do you have this thing?
You have it. I don't see what you're showing, but
Oh, sorry. Let's see.
yeah. But I remember you bragged about it.
I'm gonna brag about it. I'm gonna just share about it because it is quite nice. All right.
Yes.
So this, it uses AI under the covers, but you can see it down here. What this is called Whisper Flow. And if I want to just like leave a comment, right? So I add my cursor up here. So the idea is whenever I record, it's going to take my recording and translate it into text. So I can say, thanks for the great article. Appreciate it. We shared this on the AI in Review newsletter live with Sergei. Thank you. Keep up the good work. I can end my recording. That's just like hitting a button and boom, all that is typed out. Is it the same way I would have typed out? No, I would have had more misspellings, but I can add that. Oh, Sergei spelled wrong. Sorry, Sergei.
It's okay. I accept the
happens.
Y at the end. It's fine. It's fine.
All right, so we'll add that. Look at that. I'm done. So
You actually contributed.
what this is called, this is Whisper Flow. Oh, add it to my library. Look at that. So Whisper Flow, it kind of like knows about your text thing. It will take whatever you say, remove the ums and the likes and all the hedge words you use, and it will type it out for you. And it's quite nice for dictating to your code. They do have a pretty generous free tier, but they also have a paid tier if you become a power user. So worth checking out, Whisper Flow.
Okay, thank you. All right, now because I usually don't go through the ones which tools and frameworks. Do you have anything you want to mention, or maybe something what you've tried, or maybe something you're like, oh, you gotta do that?
Sure. I will say, well, first thing, this Graphify local knowledge graph. This is something I started playing with. So
You mentioned in the opening, I think, even.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
So this guy, Parda, he has spent a couple weeks building an automation framework. There's this, let me just pull up. This is his specific, well, this is Graphify Labs. But Graphify is a tool that lets you install this tool in your local, and then with an LLM, you basically run this skill command and you say, hey, I want to graphify my code base. And the output is this basically linked information that exists on your code base that gives you a graph of what are all the different lower level things, what are the higher level things, and how are they connected. So the word here is like a knowledge graph, but the idea is it does all the searching and connecting and builds all these relationships and all these big JSON files that you can then go visualize. But the idea is from that, you now can let your LLM talk to this knowledge graph, which should be a more efficient way to get information out. And as long as you're keeping this up to date, like send information to that. So to build knowledge graphs, you can let it scan your code base. You can drop in PDFs or, exported Confluence pages, markdowns, any of this stuff to build out what I would call context, right? So the biggest problem that I've faced when it comes to testing and the biggest problem that needs to be solved is how do we get over this, idea of giving our LLM the right amount of context, not too much, not too little, so it can give us the output and the results that we're looking for. So a part of that is prompting, a part of it is like your Cloud MD, your Agents MD, like the things you bring to the table. But it's also when I'm 4 pages deep into a workflow and there's 8 different options, but on the screen, our Playwright CLI Explorer can only see 3 of those. How do we give the right context to our LLM so we make sure that the right risks are covered? And it does a lot of that pre-work. So when we're coming, we're reviewing and asking those questions. So, and that could be maybe a feature flag is not enabled, or there's a configuration for this client that's not turned on for this other client. And not things that you're going to really experience when it comes to these like test sites for exploring, but definitely things that you're going to run into when you're working with enterprise software that has been built on for the past 15, 20 years.
Well, my favorite part is right on the already on the screen is get started is 30 seconds.
It really is. It's a little longer than 30 seconds because it does take a few minutes to get going. Here is my, this is my knowledge graph of our test demo site. So you can kind of see, this is API keys and controllers actually like added this stuff via code. So like all these like little knowledge graphs they're basically files that exist with different neighbors, and it tells you, it's basically a brief overview of what exists. So like this .new method talks to the session controller, which I think is right here. So again, it is 30 seconds to get started. I would say it probably took about 2 minutes to kind of run all the things on this demo code base. But you've got all these artifacts and these things that the LLMs can go explore. So pretty cool stuff.
It is pretty cool stuff. I'm a visual person, so yeah, I love seeing this a lot. So there are other articles which we don't have time today to go through, but I really liked. Where is it? Something about testing AI. A practical. Okay, here we go. I found it. A practical introduction to testing LLMs by Demi Van Malkot. There is one article which will take you more than 13 minutes, but it's a good read just because by reading it, you also can see why AI is not giving you what you ask for. Because she gives a beautiful examples of the challenges and of testing, and so what AI might be doing wrong. So some of those things I would while I was reading, I was like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense because it's So this one, take your time, read it. Obviously, we don't discriminate anybody, so read every single article.
That's right.
If you can. But of course, yeah, some of those I know. Me personally, I read the title and I'm like, oh, this one, and I click immediately. And but again, the newsletter is there. The new one is coming next Monday. Again, like every single Monday. AIandQA.com is a website where you go and subscribe. And on next Tuesday, we're gonna be here again, talking about AI in QA. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.